morning team made a video that I was trying to get to a campsite for sleeping. It was 2 days ago, and I drove past and I couldn't find it. It was in the dark. It was in like a rural farm town area. There was zero lighting, and so I couldn't find it, and I was running out of gas, and so I ended up having to find civilization to get gas, and then my GPS wasn't working because I couldn't find the state park. And then so I ended up just like following the lights, the city lights, the pollution in the sky to find the gas. And then I just kind of drove, thinking that I was going to the east, which would be the highways I was familiar with, that would bring me to civilization again, so I could have somewhere that I could stay for real. But I was actually not going east, I was going west. And so I ended up going into South Dakota on accident. And it was kind of cool because I have not been to South Dakota before. And it's, just the state over. So I went, and it was, I was an hour and a half in or so when I woke up the next morning. I wasn't sure that my GPS was working. It did show the map well, so that was a good thing. But I wanted to sleep. I ended up sleeping at a gas station, and then just because I was like, I'm not going to keep driving anywhere, I'm just going to stop. I have no idea where I am. It's 11 o'clock. I'm tired. I'm just going to sleep at this gas station, and then we're going to pick it up from there. I'm going to figure out which way the sun is rising, and then we're going to figure out how to get to civilization from there. But I ended up deciding that I was in South Dakota, and I had not done any of the South Dakota things, the sightseeing things, and I was like, okay, well, let's go do some sightseeing. But of course, so I actually drove about 6 hours, and I went and saw the Badlands. I saw the Black Hills. I saw Mount Rushmore. But I knew it had to be a quick trip because I have a shift on Sunday today in the afternoon back in Minnesota. And so I woke up yesterday not knowing where I was exactly, just not finding out I was in South Dakota, driving 6 hours over to the Badlands and things, and then driving back to Minnesota as soon as I was done. And so it was a whirlwind day. It was a lot of driving. And I just kind of like walked very, very quickly through these these sites, and was like, I'm taking pictures. And then got back on the road back to Minnesota, and I spent 4 hours at a rest stop. Here in Minnesota, you have like a 4 hour limitation, and I did see in South Dakota you have a 3 hour limitation there. So that was kind of a nuance. It was posted, no camping here. You can stay in your car. You can rest in your car. That's fine, but you can't, pull out whatever, tents or anything like that. And you have a limit of 3 hours. So that was a slight nuance difference. But I slept for about 4 hours, and then I got back on the road. And so it's, 4 hours of sleep, and I took a wrong turn too, and I was trying to get on the highway so I could find a Flying J so I could shower and get ready for my work shift, because I don't have a campsite. I was not able to find the campsite that I booked for the 2 nights, so we let it go. But when I was in South Dakota, I got myself a cowgal hat. My first. I grew up listening to country music, and so this was kind of a cute moment. It's going out west and enjoying it. So I loved the change of pace of South Dakota just because of all the farmland. It was very sprawling, and it was very quiet. I think I've been jumping in and out of the cities all the time, and I feel like that I was just like subconsciously like somewhat frenzied, and so kind of driving through was like, ah, this is, you know, I was in a hurry, of course, because I wanted to get to the places and I had to get back. And well, there was a brief moment where I was like, I put in my 2 weeks. Should I just call and say my GPS led me astray and I've got this opportunity to see South Dakota? And, but I was like, no, I'm going to be responsible. I'm going to end this on my terms because I wanted to, you know, wrap things up well. And I already made plans and things. So I was like, no, we're going back to Minnesota. We're not going to try and beg off. It was tempting with my one last week of work with my 2 week notice put in already, but alas, we're gonna do it right. And so, but I loved it, South Dakota, and driving through, like I inadvertently found the capital. I had forgotten that Pierre was the capital, and so I took the exit, and I was driving through. I was like, oh, nice small town, and and then I like stopped for gas. I was like, oh, thank goodness they have gas at this station, and they're very well stocked, so they must have a decent clientele. And this is the capital city. And then I kept driving, and then it was like, this is the capital, and I was like, oh my gosh, what? And it was so like low to the ground, and it was so sprawling. It felt so casual, and just really low key and very nice. And I really appreciated it. And of course, it harkened to my past French education too, because I was studying French to be a French teacher, and so Pierre and they had some French nuances around, and so that was really cool. But it was very low key, and I just kind of wanted to hug it after the driving and the driving back and forth and up in Minnesota. And so it was kind of nice. It was a balm. And then I got to way out west, and everyone had, like, there was the podunk touristy site with all the country stuff and all the fun touristy things for westerns. And so it was kind of fun. It appealed to my inner nerd, and like I kind of was thinking, gosh, I've been so like polished professional, or like not, but obviously I've been out camping and I've been like just like a ball of sweat and things and stuff, but it's just because I was constantly like going and I was working from home, like it still felt like very professional. And so it was kind of nice to just take a break and be like a little nerdy and be like, this is an outlaw. I'm gonna sit with this statue of an outlaw with their cigarettes and their gunslinging. So it felt kind of like out of the norm for sure. And so it was a nice change of pace, but it was only for like a couple beats, because then I had to get back on the road and get back to Minnesota for my job. But it was cute, and I enjoyed it. I don't know how long I'm going to be going on this 4 hours of sleep. I'm at a rest stop now, so I'm trying to decide if I want to hold out and try and find the Flying J for a shower, or if I should just use the sink here and worship. I have used, have towel bathed in the last week, but I've not had a proper shower since last weekend. So that does sound appealing, to get, clean my hair and all that stuff, shave properly, things like that. But or if I just want to hang out here, catch some more sleep from the back. And but overall, it was a whirlwind, as I haven't driven that much, like probably since college, and so it was tiring. And I got to the rest stop this morning at about 1:00, and I just collapsed in the back, and then I was out for 4 hours, and I just did not want to get up. So I'm not as young as I once was, but I do have a cowgirl hat now. So I've been to the West. I didn't see any snakes though, but I did see prairie dogs and buffalo. So okay, we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.